Does this visually look like everything you wanted it to whenever you kind of conceived it?
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Great racetrack. Track's really awesome. Good facility. Put a lot into it. The whole grounds, a lot of great camping areas and stuff out around the track. So just a fun place. Shape of the track, drivability of the track is really good. Talking to some of the guys that race here all the time, they told me it was a lot of fun. So I think we're gonna have a really good race. It's gonna be fun. Working on my car, trying to get my car to work like I want it to has been enjoyable, and found the way to figure out how to get around here. It's a little technical, but yeah, good racetrack, and got a little progressive banking in the corner, a little flatter on the bottom groove, a little more banking up the racetrack. So I think it's going to race really well.
Is there any place that this compares to? I know some people want to make the Florence thing. I'm not sure that's quite there. There's a little bit of New River, I feel like, in Wake County. Is this a completely different animal?
Man, I don't know. I do know that the things that you want to do at Florence to have a good race car are the same things here. The track isn't shaped or doesn't drive the same. There's tons of banking on the straightaway here versus Florence. Probably more banking in both corners for sure. Florence really flat down in 3 and 4, but the same things you need the car to do are similar. So a lot of the same changes and adjustments that we might chase at Florence seem to work here, and the way you want the car to get off the bottom of the corner is really critical. So there are some people might say, it's like Florence, but I don't know that I've ever been to a racetrack that's like this. Most of our tracks don't have this much banking, but I don't run that many of them. But it's kind of like, honestly, it's a little bit like an old Wilkesboro, to be honest with you. Yeah, not quite as slick and worn out, but shape-wise, it's similar. So it feels big. It feels larger than it probably is. So although you're kind of always turning and always on the right rear tire, but fun track, plenty of room, I think, so should race good. I hope we have a good race. I know our guys they'll have their moments where it's chaos, and but hopefully it's fantastic to watch.
Did the car today do everything that you feel like it needs to do?
It was earlier. We tried a lot of other things later in the day that weren't quite where I wanted to go. And the car got a couple of weird quirks in it that weren't things I wanted, but we are way better today than we were yesterday. Yesterday, man, I was struggling trying to find the wrap and the balance that I needed in the car, so we made some big gains this morning.
This is a big week for Cars Tour in the sense that you guys announced the FS1 Wilkesboro deal coming here, and now Hickory, 50 grand to win, 25 to start. How much of this is kind of like watching your baby kind of grow up, because this is everything that you wanted to do when you guys acquired the tour?
Yeah, it's awesome. Me and Kevin were talking about that today. Me and Harvick were just like, man, it's happening, right? The things that we wanted to see come to pass are working out, and flow has really been a big part of that, especially the Hickory deal with the throwback race and the $200,000 purse. Without flow, it doesn't happen. Period. It doesn't happen. So if anybody wants to be happy and thankful, they need to tell Flo. So I'm glad that Flo believes in the tour. I want them to feel like they have equity in it and ownership, and we love being on Flo. The opportunity to get to work with Fox is a great chance to put our sport in front of a different audience while simultaneously still being on Flo. So if you're watching on Fox that weekend or that week at Wilkesboro, great. But if you still want to watch it on Flo, it's going to be the same broadcast. So you can just find it in 2 spots. But I'm not sure. I think it's great for us. I'm hearing our teams are getting a lot of interest from sponsors and new sponsors about that particular event. So that's awesome to hear that. Doug Barnes told me he's sold more sponsorship for that race than he's ever sold before. So I'm excited that the teams are liking these things that are happening, and we all want this to work. We all want it to go forward, and the teams have as much a role in that as anybody, and I feel like that we do a good job listening to them, trying to make this work for them. So I'm excited. It's been a great couple of weeks for the Cars Tour, and hopefully we just keep on growing this thing and kicking butt.
Without giving it away, are there some more big cockamamie ideas coming up?
I would like to think that we're going to normalize these ideas and they won't be cockamamie. But I'm hoping that, you know, a $50,000 to win is a regular occurrence during the calendar year for multiple events, right? But
Clay Campbell's on the clock.
Yeah, right? Yeah, hey, I mean, you know, and that's great. If they come out with an announcement 2 weeks from now and say, no, 52 to win, great, what have we done, right? We've lifted everything. So, and that's kind of what happens when we announced when Jack announced the 30,000 to win.
Yep, 32.
Right, 32. So great, fine. And so I would encourage that, and we want to definitely be a partner to NASCAR and the weekly racing series and figure out a way where we can all succeed. And I got some ideas on how we can help that happen, you know, and get some of our drivers that compete with us regularly back to the weekly racing series as well. So, you know, our schedule's only 15, 14 races, and we don't want to expand and really take over our calendar year. So we're pretty happy with where we are. But it's been great. You know, I'm excited about the future. We do got some other great ideas. We got some ideas in terms of like Cars Tour growth outside of just the late model stock geographical footprint. Like this is late model stock. Cordele's not late model stock territory, but this is probably as ambitious as we'd ever be in terms of like a physical footprint for this series. And I've heard it from the other owners, they don't want us to get larger geographically, and I can fully support that. But the Cars Tour does want to get larger, and you've seen some of that growth with what Kevin's done out on the West Coast, and that's what I'm talking about. Other types of cars, other types of, you know, classes, and everything's on the table there. So some exciting conversations being had.